there. So at this point, once we have determined the duration of the note, now we have to talk. Now we have to find the pitch of every note of our sheet music. So how can we do? It is quite easy. We have to consider two elements, which are of course the staff and the clef. These two elements will allow us to give the name to the notes, so to determine the pitch of each note. Of course, the clef, we know it is very important because it allows us to find a correspondence between the notes written on the staff and the pitch of the note. We start with the treble clef, so with the right hand staff. So how can we do? How can we find the pitch of the notes? First of all, since we are talking of a piano, since we are talking of playing a piece at the piano, we have to find a correspondence between the instrument, so the piano in this case, and the staff, which means that we have to find something we can call it a reference sound. So a sound which allow us to give me a correspondence between the piano and the staff. Of course, we are talking about reading in treble clef. The sound that we are using now is the middle C of the piano. In the next video lessons, we will learn how to find the middle C on every kind of keyboard and piano. But now we have to understand how can we represent the middle C, which is a determined sound with a determined pitch, on the staff reading in treble clef. So unfortunately, the middle C is we could say below the first line of the staff reading, of course, in treble clef. So this is quite a problem, because we know that we have to use the pentagram, the lines, and the spaces of the staff of the pentagram to write the note in. So how can we do if the note, in this case the middle C, occurs below the first line? So I mean that the middle C is a sound which we have to represent going down, going lower than the first line. So to resolve this problem, we have to introduce the ledger line. What is the ledger line? The ledger line is an horizontal line that we use when the notes are below the first line or above the fifth line. So it is the same, of course, because we are talking of notes that are outside of the pentagram of the staff. So in this case, we have to use this ledger line, which allow us to write the symbol, the notes, even if we are not inside of the pentagram. So the ledger line is as we said before, is an horizontal line, but instead of the whole line, we write only a fragment of the line. So this is the way to write the middle C of the piano. So here we have our note, and as you can see, I write the note, so the black note, in the or better on the ledger line. So this is the way, and this other one, this little horizontal line, is the ledger line. So we now have find how to represent the middle C of the piano, how to represent on the staff, reading in treble clef, the middle C. And this is quite important because we have, as we said before, a reference sound, a reference note. So since we note that there is, how can I say that, once we have found the reference sound, since we know the succession of the notes from the from a note to a higher note, we can find all the different notes, all the other notes, we could say, because as you surely already know, if I start from a C note, as you surely already know, there is a very common succession of notes starting from the C going to higher notes. So the note higher will be, of course, if I start from the C, the note higher, the note that I have, the next note I can say, if I move to higher pitch, will be the D. So I have this succession that it is the same as the alphabet. So after the C I have the D, then the E, then the F, then the G, and then I start again with the A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on. So what I have to do to represent the sound next to the C, so the one which has a higher pitch next to the C, so the D, I have to go from this ledger line moving up to the space. So now in this case I am however outside the pentagram, and so I'm using the space outside of it. So this will be the D, so C, D. Then of course I have to move from down, from down in this way, moving higher in this sense, and so I have, in this case, I have to move higher to I have to move up, we could say, to the E note, and I write, of course, on the line, the first line. Then of course the F on the first space, then the G on the second line, then the A on the second space, then the B on the third line, then the C again on the third space, then D, the fourth line, E, fourth space, F, which is on the fifth line, and then again I go outside. I go outside of the pentagram of the staff. Now I'm writing it on the space above the pentagram, on the space above the fifth line. Then again I have to use the ledger line, because now I no longer have any other line. So now I have to use the first ledger line, we can call it. Then this is the A note. Then if I want to go to a higher note, so to move to the next higher note, I have to write it above the ledger line. And then if I want to go to the C, I should have to write it on the second ledger line, and so on. Then if I want to go to a higher note, higher in pitch, I would have to go above the second ledger line, and so on and so on. So here we have written a new C, which is we could say it is a different, of course, a different C from the middle C. In this case, we have we could say a C which is 2 octaves higher than the middle C, which is of course this. As we did before for the in this case for the higher notes, I can do the same for the lower notes. So if I want to go to a lower note, to a lower next to the C, now I have to write it below, of course, the first ledger line. And so if I want to go to the A, I should have to use this second ledger line, and so on. So this is the correct way to write the notes on the staff, using, of course, with we can say also considering the pitch. So in the previous videos we only considered the duration. Now we have determined the different pitches of the note, and the most important thing is that we have understood how to represent the different pitches, using the staff, using the lines, the spaces, the ledger lines, and most of all starting from a reference sound, which of course is the middle C. So please, you have to bear in mind, this is a very important thing if you want to start playing the piano, that this note on the staff reading, if you have the treble clef, correspond to the middle C on the piano. And in the next video lessons we are going to see how to read at the same time the duration and the pitch of the notes, and of course how to transfer all we know now, everything we have learned from the sheet music to the piano. But please believe me, it is very important that first of all we work hard on the sheet music, because this is the easiest way, we could say, to play a piece on the piano, because once we know very well how to read the notes with their duration and with their pitch, to read them with a correct rhythm, it should be very, very easy to play the sheet music on the piano.